Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Mom Mode. Today, we have Meems Gillette on, and I am just so excited to have you on the podcast. I started following Meems because she's just absolutely hilarious. Her mom humor, I love. And so I reached out to Meems, and I'm so excited that you are here and you are joining the Mom Mode podcast. Thanks for being here.
Hi everyone. This is Memes. um, okay, so if you're already following me, you kind of know where, what I do and who I am. But if you're new here, welcome. And I've been on here, I think this will be my 6th year, maybe. And to be honest, I started not wanting, hoping, wishing, thinking about being a content creator. It was mainly I just wanted to get free diapers, to be honest with you.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Camden was just born and I had a toddler and a newborn and I was like, you know what, if I can get, a box of free diapers or even, just anything baby, I was like, that's so cute. I'll take a picture and, see where it gets me. And one thing led to another and now this is my career. Well, actually, I went full time, I want to say 3 years ago when Cam went to kindergarten. So then I had my day. Um but yeah, I've been loving it ever since. Like I said, this was never on my like what I want to be when I grow up type of thing. And it's just been such a gift. Like everything that I've been able to do and share and really, connect with so many moms and women in so many different seasons of life and everything. It's been amazing to hear everything. Truly, like, the biggest thing for me was no one is ever really alone in anything. I mean, we
Mhm.
all feel that always. I mean, as moms, I think we always feel alone in some aspect, and even the littlest thing, but it's truly you're not, being a mom is such a universal thing. So it's such a comforting feeling for me. And I remember when I went on Instagram initially, it was to, you know, first just to connect with moms because I was in such, depression mode with a newborn. I was stuck at home and I was like, I'm the only one. And come to find out, you're not the only one. And
Yep.
it was really nice to hear other moms with the same age kids. And it's like, okay, I'm not crazy. It's normal
No,
to feel that way.
I completely agree. And that's actually
Yeah.
why I started mom mode because I'm like, I don't know how to really do reels. I'm not good at like doing all the content stuff. I'm really not
Oh.
that techie. My husband's behind like all the tech stuff with mom mode, but I was like, I felt so lonely. Like it's
Mhm.
so true. Like, and you aren't alone and you have friends and you have family and you have your, husband. And even if you don't have a husband and you're a single mom, like there are people that are in your corner that you can call at any time, but you do feel so alone.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, I couldn't agree more. Did you just start like posting on Instagram or did you do the TikTok route as well? Once like
No, so
TikTok became a thing.
initially it was just Instagram, and I wished I knew about Instagram when I had Evie, like, 10 years ago, because I know it started back then, but I didn't even
Hmm.
know about it because I was a full-time working mom at the time, so I didn't think about that thing or social media. I never had time to do anything, and so it was once I was like, "Oh, what's this Instagram thing?" in 2018, it was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is pretty cool. You can really find a community of like-minded moms or even just to be able to just read what other moms are feeling if
Yeah.
you're too shy to even get on yourself. It was just such a confident builder type of, aspect. And no, so I did Instagram. I didn't do TikTok. I am now kind of dabbling in both and trying to get on TikTok as well. But for me, it's just the time constraint. I'm like, it's just so much work, and I'm trying to get on
Yeah.
YouTube, and it's just like it's a lot of
I
work.
know. It really is.
Yeah.
But that's amazing. I mean, I feel like Instagram has such a good platform
Mhm.
um of a mom community, in so
Yeah.
many different ways. Um well, with everything that you share, um So when you started Instagram, what did you do previously? Were you just home with your babes, or did you like were you working full time and then you were able to transition out of your role
So
from
I
doing like
was
Instagram?
Yeah, so I was a full-time teacher. I was a
Oh
teacher
wow.
for 12 years prior to becoming a mom. So I was this career driven, that's all I thought of. And I thought being a mom would just kind of like, oh, it's again, right? Before you become a mom, you don't really know what it involves. And I thought
No.
I could do 100% with each, my job and being a mom. And that first year was honestly hell. And, it really made me I mean, honestly, you change when you become a mom. Your whole
Yeah.
outlook, perspective, identity, everything changes, and I just was not happy anymore. I was we had I lived in the Bay Area at the time, and, Ryan was working, he was traveling all the time, so it was like I was solo parenting most days. We had a nanny who would come, but then again, as a teacher, I can't just call in sick, it's like I
Mhm.
have to have sub plans and I have to have everything prepared. So there was lots of nights where I would go to my school at like 3 or 4 in the morning to leave sub plans, come back because my nanny would like text literally at midnight saying like her child got sick or, something. So it was such a rat race that first year.
Yeah.
And I feel so bad because I don't remember a lot of it because I was such in survival mode. And,
Mhm.
after that year, Ryan was like, "This isn't gonna work out." I'm like, "You're right. This is not gonna work out for longevity." And so we moved closer to his parents, out of the Bay Area, and I became a stay-at-home mom. Um, and then, I was with Everly, and around 2, when she turned around 2, we started so both my kids are IVF kids.
Okay.
And yeah, and, so we started another round, because we had always wanted 2,
Uh-huh.
and so I was doing that and, raising Evie, and then I got pregnant with Cam. So, until I started doing this content creation, I was a stay-at-home mom, and that
Which
was,
is probably
yeah.
I mean, becoming a mom, like you said, becoming a mom, everything shifts for you, and you really don't realize that until you become a mom. Your
Right.
identity, who you are, what you look like, I mean, there's days
Yes.
where I woke up and I'm like, "Oh my who am I?" Like, I'm
Yeah.
not, and then you start to, like, miss your 20s, you're like, I'm in my
Yes.
30s, but then you go in your 40s. I mean, and it just, you know, I think there's joy in every stage in life, but
Mhm.
you also don't realize when you're moving into that next stage that you're saying bye to a different stage. And I
Yes.
think sometimes that's really hard. And with you, okay, so doing IVF. So were you guys trying, not to kind of jump switch, but were you
Mhm.
guys like trying and not successful and that's what led to IVF, or did you always know that you had to do IVF?
We pretty much always knew. So,
Okay.
it was, and this isn't talked about a lot. And I want to share more about this also on my page too, because I think it's important. But for us, it was a male factor infertility. And
Okay.
so it was well, we had been trying but I was already 35, so we got married late. And so once you hit 35, as many of us know, you're high risk, right? And,
Mhm.
I kinda also didn't want to waste any time, so I was like, "All right, let's just go get everything checked," like, "Ryan, you go get your sperm checked, I go get all my insides checked. Let's just make sure we are both at our healthiest and that we actually have chance for successful pregnancy." That's when we found out we had male factor infertility, and, we were like, "Okay, well, we're not gonna beat around the bush because again, I was like, I'm already 35 turning 36 type of thing. So we went straight to IVF and, because the doctors were saying there's really no point in trying to even do IUI or, like taking extra hormones and things like that because there just wasn't, the probabilities were really low. And we are like, no, we don't want to waste. I'm a very much like results driven person. So I'm like, nope,
Yeah.
I want to skip all that, BS and let's just go straight to the source. And, so yeah, so we did IVF and we got pregnant the first round, and unfortunately so Evie was actually a twin. So I got pregnant with 2. We implanted 2 and they both implanted. They were the most healthiest, and so I was originally pregnant with twins, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
And then around 16 weeks, I lost 1. So Evie was my strong one, and I know that now because she's, she's my little sassy girl. And, yeah, and then but throughout the rest of the pregnancy, everything was good, everything was easy, and, it was honestly I had such an easy pregnancy after that fact because after losing my twin, that first 16 weeks was just hell. Because again, I was still teaching and I was taking off so much time of work because I had to go to again, I was high risk, so I had to go to
Mhm.
a what are they called? Neonatology people, and then I had to go to a geneticist. It was just like I was just going in and out of hospitals while trying
Yeah.
to work. So
It's so much.
it was so much, and, so yeah, but other than that, everything was good. Evie came at 39 weeks. She was healthy. She was teeny tiny. She was only 5'7", 5 pounds, 7
Oh.
ounces. Yeah, she was like a little sack of flour, and, but she was healthy. So
Mhm.
that's it, and then when it was and we didn't have any frozen embryos, so we knew if we wanted to try for another child, we would have to do another fresh cycle again, so I was like, "Well, I'm gonna wait because my body is all jacked up on hormones and I'm breastfeeding and I can't, my mental status is not good." So, we
Yeah.
waited till about she was 2 years old, or no, maybe she was 18, 19 months actually, because it takes time to do all the hormones and stuff like that. And then I got pregnant right away, with the first cycle again. And
Which is
this time what was
amazing because
crazy,
I feel
yeah,
like that
it
doesn't
is.
always
It
happen.
doesn't, and that's what's so crazy, and they always say, like, it really is for the people that are going through infertility, your endometrium lining is just so important. And so I remember my fertility doctor was like, you should be proud of your lining. It's so strong. And
Oh.
it's like I'm like, yeah. But yeah, so with that pregnancy, with the second one though, which was amazing, I had 4 really strong embryos. And I remember
Wow.
we were in Hawaii. I think we were, I don't know, it was me, Ryan, Evie. Evie was a toddler. They called and said, "We have your results of your embryos. 4 of them are as healthy as can be. What do you want to do?" And we're like, I'm not putting 4 babies in me because what if they all
Yeah.
stay? Because I have this, like, super strong uterine lining, So I'm like, "Oh my god." So it was a blessing and a curse, I guess you could say, right? Because it's like, what do you
Yeah.
do? So we decided we're like, "Okay, well, just pick the best looking male embryo." And we just decided to just implant 1 'cause we were afraid if we did 2 again, they would both
Then it could
stick,
be
and
twins.
I
Yep.
did not want twins, and there's a possibility of those splitting, and I'm like, "No, no." I'm like, "I can't."
Yeah, and it's so much when, like, you already have a toddler, right? I
Yes.
mean, it's not
Yep.
like you're just by yourself, and I
Yes.
mean, twins seem so great to me, and then
Right.
I'm like, "But wait,
Wait.
that's
Yeah.
so hard." Like, then you're feeding 2 babies, and then they're crying, and then you're changing 2
Oh
diapers, like,
god.
it's 2 of
Yes.
everything, and then so,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
it's so much. I mean, they're a blessing. I love watching people with twins and
Yes,
triplets,
I
like,
did too.
all their stuff, but I'm like, as much as I would
I
love that, I don't
I
know that
know.
I would be okay mentally.
No.
So,
So,
well, that's
yeah,
incredible.
so that's how, Cam and Evie came to be. So I always tell them, like, you guys need to be good because you guys cost mom and dad a lot of money."
Seriously. Oh my gosh. Well, that's like such a
Yeah.
success story. And obviously, you were
Yes.
super healthy, which is great because
Yes.
that's why it probably took so fast, was like your
Mhm.
body was ready. Um, so starting at 35, I'm 35 right now, actually.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm actually 12 weeks pregnant. So I haven't announced that yet.
Yes.
But when
Yeah.
this episode releases, I will already have
Well,
mention that. But it's tough. It's tough on your body. And, yeah, just all the things that doctors, the high risk, because then you automatically are seeing like two different kinds of doctor, your regular
Yes.
OB, your maternal fetal medicine.
Mhm.
Um, I'm taking, what is it, baby aspirin now,
Oh,
because if
yeah.
you're over, I don't know if they had you do that, but now if
Yeah.
you're over 35, they say that that's better.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's a lot. Now with being 35 and now having a 10-year-old and 7-year-old, I know that
Mhm.
you share a lot about like perimenopause.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
let's dive into that, because I feel like
Yeah.
that is not talked about enough. Menopause is
Mhm.
talked about.
Mhm.
Perimenopause, I don't feel like is, or even just the transition into your 40s, after having children and having a family that you need to show up for and going through that, because hormones, you hear about hormones when you're a teenager, you hear about hormones when you're trying to get pregnant. But I feel like we don't talk about the hormones and all the shifting and everything that happens,
Mhm.
when you're going through this. Um,
Yes. Mhm.
and so I know you posted that you were like going to different doctors. So can you share some of your journey around perimenopause and like what you did to advocate for yourself?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that key word is advocate because you really need to advocate for yourself. Like, do not let those doctors gaslight you because they will gaslight you.
Mhm.
I've seen multiple doctors. And so for me, I started noticing a big shift when I turned 43. So, in my, when I turned 40, 41, 42, I was still like normal. Everything seemed fine. 43 is when I started noticing real big shifts. That's when I actually developed PMDD also, which is
Mhm.
the premenstrual dysphoric disorder or something. And
Yep.
it was just bad. It was so bad. And I started seeing a therapist, and that's when I got on my Zoloft, and it was bad. Coupled with the perimenopausal new hormones and just my body not feeling like my body. Like literally I gained, and I shared this. I gained 20 pounds in 1 year when I didn't do anything different. Like it just happened. And it was like, how did that happen? And I'm not a tall person. So, 20 pounds on a shorter person is a lot more visible, I want to say, than like on a tall individual. Um,
Yeah. And your body
and
feels it too.
yeah,
Like you feel that
100%.
weight.
Yes. And it's a weight that you've never, like it's like, okay, well, I'm not pregnant, and even during pregnancy, I actually gained a lot of weight during each of my pregnancies, about 60 pounds and with each of my pregnancies. So for me to go from that and then to lose it all right after, because again, everyone's body is so different. And my body just was able to do that. But then perimenopause hit and it was like, this is not what I'm used to. I'm 43 years old. And
Mhm.
what is this? And I was really struggling. Again, like you said, there's no education about perimenopause. You just feel like
No.
you're going crazy. And it's like, hey, why am I acting this way? Why am I all of a sudden crying? Then I'm happy. It's like, am I bipolar? Like then you start thinking about all these other things and then you go to Dr. Google and it's like, oh my gosh. So I went to my primary care. She said, I'm fine. I told her, well, I gained about 20 pounds in 1 year. She said, well, you're still healthy, right? Under their like, guidelines or whatever. I'm like, okay, that's fine, but that doesn't mean anything. Like I might be healthy to you, but not to
Yeah.
me who is the person living in my body. So I really
Yep.
did. I was like, okay, well, screw that doctor. Went to another doctor. He also kind of was alluding to the same thing, like, oh, let's just give it a year, try more exercise, more stress relieving, go for longer walks. I'm like, okay, whatever. And so I was like, okay, you know what? I've always been healthy my pretty much my whole life. So I did get myself a walking pad. I got myself some weights. I was willing to do anything and everything because I hated how I felt and I hated how be I was becoming toward my family. And that's
Mhm.
what hurts you the most as a mom, right? It's like, why am I retaliating to my husband who's just like, what did I do? It's like just a simple question of, "Are you okay?" would trigger me. It's like, "Of course
Yep.
I'm okay." So, I finally found so then I went to my OB. It was just like a normal, my checkup or whatever, and I was telling her about it, and she actually listened. She sat there and she said, "Okay," and she actually was writing down everything I was feeling. And I was like, "Oh, she's actually listening. Okay, let me tell her more."
Mhm.
And so she was kind of like, "Okay, let's just try this." She told me, well, that's actually when I stopped my birth control pills, because I was actually on birth control pills. Or did I start birth control? Now I'm trying to remember. Oh, you know what? I think she put me on birth control pills to try to like help me.
Yep.
So I was on for 2 years. Then last year, or yeah, last year in 2025, I was like, I can't do, maybe that's what's contributing, because I was reading more about it. And then I told her, and she said, okay, well, let's go get your, blood work. And it's funny now that I think about it, like, she didn't think to ask about my blood work, and I didn't think to even ask about getting my blood tested or anything at 43. I guess I just was so new to it.
Yeah.
But the more I was reading about it and things like that, it's like, okay, I need to get a blood work. And so she sent me get my blood work last year, had like 8 vials of blood drawn. They tested for everything and anything. And of course, everything came back normal. I was normal, but she knew, and I was still pushing. I was like, no, I am not normal. I need to try something, just anything. And so she put me on my estrogen patch, the lowest dose, and I'm on progesterone pills as well. And those two combined, I feel since I've been on it, gosh, what was it in the fall? I think I started. I feel better. Like, I don't have many night sweats hardly. Like,
Yeah,
if
because
that.
what other symptoms were you having? So the night sweats, and I've
Yeah.
heard night sweats for, like, menopause.
Yes.
Not
But no,
sleeping, like, were you
perimenopause.
sleeping?
Oh, so that was the big thing. Like, I wasn't sleeping, and I was taking my magnesium and doing, like chilling out and things like that. And it just wasn't working. So magnesium wasn't working for my sleep. I was having major night sweats. Like, I would wake up drenched, and I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
this is so gross. I'm like,
Mhm.
how I feel like I ran a marathon. Again, the irritability was beyond. Like, that one was crazy. Even with
Well, of
my
course,
Zoloft.
because like, when you don't like,
Uh,
on top of not feeling good and, like, whatever might have
mhm.
maybe you were low in something or
Right.
your body just needed a little more of the
Mhm.
estrogen or the progesterone,
Yeah.
but then, like, you don't even feel like yourself. So, like, that
No.
already, like, adds to it because I've
Exactly.
been in that place where, like, I had a similar thing, and what's weird is, I mean, like I said, I'm 35, but when I turned 30, I gained like 20 pounds in a year,
Uh-huh.
and doctors kept telling me like, "Oh, you probably just need to eat better." I'm like, "No, I eat fine. I'm eating the
Yeah.
same stuff I used to eat." So mine
Right.
was more like just like weight,
Mhm.
but it was making me like depressed and irritable, and yeah, you
Yes.
just like snap. You're just like, when you're getting ready and clothes aren't fitting you well
Mhm.
and you just
Yep.
look at yourself in the mirror, like, it's really hard.
It is. It really
And,
is, and it
my
really does
husband would
is
be like,
something.
"You look
Yeah, go
beautiful."
ahead.
Like, people can compliment
Mhm.
you, but you're like,
Yeah.
"No, no, like, I'm
No.
not
Yeah.
me."
Right,
It's so
exactly.
hard.
It's like, "Thank you, but no thank you."
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, it, like, really messes with your mental state. It's like, in your brain, you're like, "Okay, like, it's like what you see and what you think is just totally different, right? And whether you
Yep.
have like body dysmorphia or anything, it's just this thing. And it's just such a, I don't even know. It's so weird. And unless you're going through some type of, thing where like experience where you're just not yourself, you don't know,
Mhm.
right? You just don't know. And for anyone to say it's all in your head is such a, BS thing. I
And
hate
I
when
think
people say
unless you experience it too, like,
yeah,
not all women, like
right.
my mom going through menopause,
Mhm.
she didn't have like the emotional mood swings. She was
Okay.
more, I can't sleep. She also got frozen shoulder. very
Oh, yeah.
strange. But when your hormones are like drastically shifting, like my mom's
Mhm.
shoulder froze up and she's super active. So for her, it was like, what is going on? Like
Yeah,
I
I bet.
work out, I move my muscles. And then my mother-in-law, she actually what you're talking about,
Mhm.
she's experienced. She's like, I don't feel like myself.
Mhm.
She's like, I can't explain it. Like, I'm very like, I go through mood swings. I can't
Mhm.
sleep. She's sweating. I mean, she is so hot in the middle of the night, she says, and she'll like
Yeah.
sleep with her windows open when it's like 40 degrees because
Yeah,
she's like, I'm
exactly.
sweating. Um, so I feel like there's women that can be like, "Oh my gosh, I relate to this. I'm not alone." And then there's some women that are probably like, "What are they talking about?"
Yeah,
Because
what are
they
they
don't
talking
they've never
about?
experienced it.
Mm,
And that's probably the
yeah.
same with these doctors. Unless
Yes.
they've encountered it, they don't know.
Yeah.
And it's such a shame. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's rough.
It is rough. And I mean, the other things like for me was I was always itchy, which was the weirdest thing. I was like,
Interesting.
why am I itchy? I mean, and I thought, okay, is it because I'm just hot all the time? So I'm just like, I'm hot, I'm itchy, like everything is just bothering me, And like
Yeah.
that was another big thing. And not to be TMI, but also before I got on my estrogen and progesterone, like when I had my period or anything, right? It was just so heavy, like extremely heavy to the point where I'm like, am I dying? Like, am I bleeding like out of my body? And now it's just not as. So
Okay.
everyone's so different in their symptoms and responses to medication and stuff. But those were some of
Yeah.
my things. It was so weird. I was like, gosh, what's happening? And I thought maybe my body was flushing all the blood because I'm going to hit menopause. And so I was like, well, I'll just let it
Yeah.
happen and see.
And so that was like was that happening for a while or
Yeah,
like
it
around
was.
when the weight gain, when everything
Yes.
started?
Yeah, it was like I
Wow.
would literally go through like, I would buy the super tampons or
Yeah.
whatever, and it was like every hour. The super supers, and I'm like, "What the heck?" And then one time I remember Ryan, like, I asked him to go grab me some, and he came back with the regulars. I'm like, "What the hell am I gonna do with this?" Like, "You want me to shove 3 in there?"
And I feel like having like a cycle here and there that was like heavier is like,
Mhm.
okay, like
Yeah,
my uterus might need to shed more or,
right.
something. But to have it consistent like that is like
Yeah.
alarming, I would
Yeah, and
think.
And I told my, doctor about it, and they're like, "Oh, no, that's that's normal. You're 43." And I'm like, "Okay." I don't know. I've never been 43. So,
Yeah. Right? Like,
yeah.
so your OB really is who kind of
Yes.
helped shift and like told you about the estrogen and
Yes.
progesterone. And did it take you like a minute to find what dose you needed? Or was it
She
just the low
just
dose of the estrogen? And
So right now, she just said, "Let's just start on the low dose." So I'm
yep.
still on the low dose. I think when I do see her this year, I might try to up my dose on either. I don't know which one is doing what. So, just
Yeah.
to see, because I but at the same time, I'm like, "Okay, maybe I'm just extra irritable because of, just external stresses and things like that." So, but at the same time, like, it can't hurt, right? I don't know. I just feel like it can't hurt. So, I mean, so far so good.
Yeah. Are you feeling like, is the PMDD getting easier now?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That definitely. I mean, the Zoloft, when I got that, that really helped me a lot. And then I increased my dosage on that as well last year. Um, but I feel like in addition to that and my estrogen and progesterone really helps me kind of just chill out a little bit.
Mhm.
And I do notice a difference when I forget. Like if I forget just even a day, by that night, I am I know. I'm like, shoot, let me check my pill case. Shoot,
Yep.
that's why. I can sense it. Like my brain just is like, So
Yep.
it's just
No, I mean, it's good that you found something that's working and hopefully it
Mhm.
continues to work.
Yes.
Um, Now, like you said, with like showing up and like being a mom and like
Mhm.
not having that irritability toward your family, like
Mhm.
with your daughter being 10, your son being 7, like how how have you managed going through this,
Mhm.
with parenting?
So the hardest part, like I said, was when I was going through when I was 43, so 3 years ago. I it was so many peaks and valleys because I had so many ups and downs and my moods were literally bipolar-ish, I guess. And I feel so guilty because how old were they? They were 4 and 7, I guess? And so, they were like 1st grade, 2nd grade, and like, preschooler, right? So
Mhm.
it was so hard. And I would literally, again, because my emotions were all over the place, like cry myself to sleep because it was just such a I felt so defeated, and I remember crying to Ryan, like, "I'm just this demon, like, I don't know what to do with this demon," for 2 weeks every month, right? Like, I was
Mhm.
really, like, awful. I was awful. I was an awful human being, and I just was like, "This just sucks, like, no one deserves this," and you really get to a really bad state in mind as a mom because especially, like, I don't know, I'm a recovering perfectionist. And so it's almost like, hey, I'm obviously not good at this, like what's wrong with me? And so a lot of those types of negative thoughts come in. Um, and it just was really not good. And, Ryan, like, of course, if you see my page, I'm always making fun of him, but he truly is my rock. And
Mhm.
he's like, you need to go see someone. Let's go find someone. And, like work this out because he knows that's not who I am, It's like he
Yeah.
he sees the shift like just in a literally in a snap of a finger. It's like I turn into Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, and it's just so nuts. And I felt so bad for my kids because they will do kid things and I just snap at them. And and I felt like, oh my God, I'm gonna give them a complex of like walking on eggshells around mom, and that was my biggest fear because growing up, I did that around my dad. And I was like, I
Mhm.
never want that for my kids. And luckily to say, they're not like that because trust me, they there's no eggshells around me with my kids now. Cause yeah, now at 7 and 10, now I'm dealing with my daughter prepubescent hormones, my hormones. It's just a shit show. Like, I'll be honest with you. There's so many days my husband's like, hey Cam, let's go golfing. Let's leave these girls. I'm like, no, you can't leave me.
Oh my gosh, that is funny. I mean, yeah, 10 is gosh, I got my period at 13.
Okay, I was 12.
So,
I was
yeah,
12. Yeah.
and yeah, I have a daughter that's 2 right now and I'm like,
Mhm.
"Oh boy." Like her
Yeah.
personality is
Oh,
already my husband's like, "Okay, I have 2 of you because she
yep.
is your twin." And I'm like, "We are in so much trouble when
Yes.
she's in her puberty ages
Yeah.
because I
Yes.
was not kind. I was not kind."
No.
I
Nope,
my
I
dad
was
will
not
still
either.
my
And
dad
my
will
daughter
still bring up things.
really? That's
Oh, yeah, my
hilarious.
dad's like, "You were so mean when you were, like, 15 to, like, 18." He's like, "It was bad." And I'm like, "Okay, but I'm 35 and I'm so sweet
Yes.
to you now. We make you
Yep.
cookies, we have you come over for dinner, like, let's talk about all the good things I
You're like,
did."
"That was then."
Yeah. Yeah, that
That's
was so
funny.
long ago. But, yeah. So, yeah, so how is so with your daughter being 10, like, I
Mhm,
mean, like, okay, I have a 2-year-old, so, like, how in your mind and in your words, like how has parenting shifted, right? Because like
mhm,
you always hear like it goes fast, the toddler years, and then they're
mhm.
in this like, elementary school phase, and they're kids. And I mean, it has to get easier but harder, right? Like there
Yes.
has to be things that become harder. And so like in your from your perspective, like what has gotten easier from like the toddler age to now where they are and what has gotten easier and what has gotten harder?
So you're absolutely right. It's easier, but harder. So, easier in the sense that I'm not in survival mode all the time. Like,
Yeah.
let's just get through the day, right? Like, let's just, oh my gosh, like when's bedtime? I mean,
Yeah.
I still do say that on the weekends though, when they're with me all day long. But for the most part, they are very independent. Even my son, again, he's the second one. So, second kid they're just kinda doing their own thing anyways, because I just don't care as much, with
Yep.
after the first, and so, like, my daughter and my son, now I let them they just go outside and go play. I'm like, "Get out of the house and go play," kinda like how we used to grow up, right?
Yep.
And, it's easier in that aspect where you can tell them something and they're capable. It's whether they'll do it or
Mhm.
not. That's their choice. But and then them talking to you because I feel like I'm raising like well, you are raising little adults, but they talk like adults because the way we parent now is so different from the way we were parented. And so let's talk about our emotions and how we're feeling and all this stuff. And they're able to do that themselves now, which is they will calm me down and say, "Mom, take a break, take a breath. Let's think
Wow.
about that." And I'm like, "Who are you? Like, who's the parent here?" And at the same time, like, good for you, like that I've modeled that enough where now it's biting me in the ass type of thing, So
Mhm.
that part is really nice that they actually understand like how to regulate themselves and help me get regulated because I can, blow my top. Um, and so the parenting part of that aspect is easier. The hard part is, I think, just managing like just their growing personality, right? They're trying to find out who they are now, especially
Yep.
my daughter. So my 7-year-old Cam, he's still my little baby. Like I still feel he's like my preschooler, he's just my little mama's boy. But again, I could be biased because he's my baby, right? So I kind of treat him a little differently. Whereas my daughter, Evie, she's turning 11 this year. So it's just like, just a preconceived, I have these set expectations. I'm like, okay, you're the firstborn. You should know this. At the same time, like, you're still just a kid. Like I have to
Yeah.
remember that myself. Like, you're still just a kid. And I love that she truly is still just a kid because she's not into Sephora. She's not into like that stuff, which I am so thankful for.
Yes.
um, I am oh god, that in itself, her and her friends are not into that, and so I'm like, "Thank God,"
That's nice. Like, keep your childhood as long as you can,
Yes,
right? Like, just be a
100%, and I
kid.
love that, and so but still, she still wants mommy, 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 but she wants, "I can do it myself," So it's like there's this, like, teeter-tottering seesaw of, like, "Okay, how much do I give where she's not gonna push back, but at the same time, I want her to know I'm always there, so she tells me things and feels open to, open up to me if there's any, like, playground drama or whatever. So that
Yeah.
part is hard in the sense of we butt heads a lot because again, she is, like your daughter, a mini me. So,
Yep.
like, we butt heads a lot,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
but there's but we're just so in love with each other too, right? Like, there's just
Mm.
so much love.
Yeah, daughters are
So
special. I mean,
it
my
is,
mom's
yeah.
like my best friend, but in high
Yes.
school, she was harder. I mean, actually my
Mhm.
parents took turns. It was like I would ask my mom if she said no, I would ask my dad.
Uh-huh.
And then sometimes I would ask my dad and he'd be like, "No," and then my mom would be like, "Oh, let her." So it's like they played their roles well. They
Uh-huh.
did.
Yeah. So
Um,
that's pretty, the biggest thing I'd say is you're not in full survival mode anymore. Like, you're really
which is
not.
nice. I get that
This
feeling.
is
I know
yeah,
it
that
still.
is nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
there's
really
days where
nice.
like I mean, I'm lucky because I am home with my daughter. So like I'm
Mhm.
like, hey, if we stay in our pajamas all day, that's what we do.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I'm learning to, and I think because now with us having another one on the way, I'm
Uh-huh.
like, okay, well, I only have so much time until she's
Yeah.
not an only child. So I think now I'm trying to embrace it more.
Yes. Yeah.
But there are days
Definitely
where you're
do that.
like, yeah, but there are days where I'm like, okay, it's 30 minutes until bed,
Yeah.
and I hate that, but I'm like, sometimes you just need that. You just need
You
that.
do, you do. You need no one touching you, no one saying, "Mom, mom,
Yeah.
mom, do this. What's that?" Like, talking to you, like, oh, because that's
Yeah.
the other thing. And actually, it's a blessing because my kids love talking to me, but it's like, "Okay, can we just stop talking for a second? Because they both wanna talk to me, and I'm like, I can't, like, and then my husband's trying to talk, I'm like, "Someone's gotta take turns. You guys gotta take turns, cause you know."
Yeah. 'Cause you're processing, like, what you have
Yes!
going on, of what you need to do for the day, then
Yeah,
yeah, it's a lot. I know.
yeah,
It
yeah.
is. I can understand that. And yeah, as they get bigger, they're only gonna talk more and
Yeah, it's so much
everything they have going
more.
on with
Yep.
school and
Their friends and,
yeah,
"Oh, next week's this, mom," and, "Oh, we got this birthday," like, they're, being in charge of their own lives a little bit more, so you're
yep.
kind of in the background, but you're still the front player because you have to drive them everywhere, like, you still have to contact their parent,
True.
you know?
Yep.
So it's like,
Very true.
you're pretty much, and I'm sure you've seen this, like, I'm literally their personal assistant and Uber driver, like, I'm like, "Hey, where are we going this weekend? Whose birthday party is it this weekend?" You know?
Which, like, I don't know, I think it's like I feel like that's a good thing in a way
It
because
is.
I as a teenager, I remember a lot of my friends that, they got their own cars, or like they wanted their friends' parents to drive them. And then it turned into like, oh, I'll just walk over or, and I
Mhm.
always wanted my parents to drive me. And
See,
I,
that's
I
cool.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, I took pride in that. I was never ashamed of my parents. I was never embarrassed.
Mhm.
I'm like, my dad's cool.
Weird,
My mom's
yeah.
cool. I'll
Right.
have them drive me till I'm 18. I don't care.
I know. Camden
Um,
says he's gonna still, sleep with me until he goes to college, so I'm like, "Okay."
hey, he may.
I know,
You
you
never
never know.
know.
And
You
who
the
am I
babies
gonna
of
say no?
right? Oh my gosh, it's funny. Like, I mean, I won't lie. There's times when like I haven't done it now, but after I had my daughter and when she was like 1 and she was in her routine well, not waking up in the middle of the
Mhm.
night. I told my
Okay.
husband, I'm like, I'm gonna go stay the night at my parents'. He's like, you are? I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna watch movies with them. And like
Yeah.
twice since becoming a mom, I have. I've like they live 10 minutes away. No one's there. I can just like hang with them. And my
Yes.
dad like
Oh
loves it. My
gosh.
dad's like, what movie are we watching? And then my mom's like,
Uh-huh.
does Jordan, my husband, she's like, does he think this is weird at all? I'm like, maybe, you
You're
know?
like, "But oh, wow, I don't care."
Yeah. Like, I'm like, sometimes I still need to be a kid myself. I'm like, I'm a mom, I'm
Yes.
a wife, but sometimes I'm
Yeah.
like, I want to be a kid. Like,
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, your son may actually follow through with
Yeah.
that.
And I'm okay with it, and so is my husband. Ryan's just like, "Whatever," you know?
Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. Um, so then with your husband, I know you said that he was
Mhm,
like is just like super supportive of you
mhm.
and just
Yeah.
like, your rock. I know you've been married for 10 years.
12,
What
12.
12? You've been married for
Yeah,
12.
yeah,
Okay.
12 years.
So 12 years is like a
Yeah.
milestone and
Mhm.
such like so amazing. And like
Yeah.
obviously through meeting your husband, I don't know how long ago you met, but you've been married for 12 years like you said you've changed. He's
Mhm.
probably changed, as a team you've changed, becoming parent, going through IVF, becoming parents, parents of 2, like there's so many different shifts. How have you kept your marriage strong and
He
your bond
travels
tight
and I
and
stay home. Just
he
kidding.
what? He golfs and you
He
stay home?
travels he
Oh,
travels and plays golf, and I stay home and do what I want. Just kidding.
hey,
But
sometimes that's what's
it that
necessary.
But I'll be honest with you, there is truth to that because, again, we got married late, right? So we
Yep,
were 33, 32, or whatever. So, and we had already done our, partying and our, we had our careers established. So we were already like our own individual. Um, and
yep, and
it was kind of like,
independent.
yes, and it was kind of like you're getting what you're getting, like, I'm not gonna change, and don't think you're gonna change or you're gonna change me or, there was none of that, and so we really, each of us just knew each other as individuals, and we had only been dating for, like, a year prior to getting married. Because again, it was almost like, because we were later in life,
Yeah,
and ever since we were together and married, his job has always was always traveling. Like he always traveled. And so I was used to that and he was used to that. And so when I became a stay at home, it was like, okay, I take care of like the house stuff. He takes care of, the work stuff and the finances. And that was kind of our roles. And we were both really good at our roles. Come COVID, then it was like everything crumbled and that year, I gotta say, it was a very rough year for us because we had never lived together, I guess, every day for so
Yeah.
long because he was gone 3 to 4 times a week. And so when he came home, it was kind of like, oh, yay, daddy's home. And then it was like, come Monday, he had to fly out somewhere again. Um, and that's just how it was. Then COVID, then we kind of that year, like I said, we hit a rough patch because it was just, we didn't know this new dynamic, of like, okay, how
Yeah.
do we like live together and cohabitate and like, because as a mom, you have your routine, right? And
Oh,
everything
yeah.
is boom, 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 with especially with your kid, right? Like you've got this flow, and when your husband's there, that flow is disrupted. And for me, who's very much like linear, I'm like, "Oh, I hate like, no, that was her nap time," or like, like, "No, we can't go there. What are you thinking?" Type of thing, right? So there was
Mhm.
a lot of me having to let go of a lot of that and him having to understand like, "Hey, I'm coming into her workspace." Because I try to like analogize it where it's like, "Babe, you're literally in my work. This is my work. The home is my
Yeah.
work. Everly's my work. Like, and I'm doing it 100%, but you're literally coming in here and messing with my job." And I try to
Yep.
tell him, like, how would you feel if I did that to you and I came into your boss's office, and was like, hey, let's go to lunch?
Yeah. It's so true. It's very true.
Yeah. So there had to be, we went through couples therapy during that time because there was just this misunderstanding, miscommunication. And obviously, we wanted to work it out because we're like, this is stupid for us to be fighting over dumb things, right? It's like
Yeah.
meaningless things in the big scheme of life. And so we worked it out and everything was fine. And I'm not going to say our marriage is so great, like every marriage has peaks and valleys, and we go
Yep.
through tons of rough patches. But every time we always come together because at the end of the day, it's like we know what our end goal is, and our end goal
Yep.
is to be together and, to raise a family. And but yeah, like going through IVF was a struggle. We had lots of struggles like as a
Yep.
couple, especially when we had only known each other for a year prior to becoming married. And as soon as we got married, we did IVF for Everly, and then we experienced loss, and then it was again IVF, and then it was, and then COVID, and then it was just like the first, I want to say 5 years of our life was very tumultuous. Very like there was
Mhm.
no consistency. Oh, and also because we had moved from the Bay Area to the
In the
Sacramento
Bay.
Valley, and I was born and not born. I was raised in the Bay Areas, and I never thought I would leave. Like I lived there for 30 something years of my life, and I was like, I'm never leaving. And then I left. So it was like I had an identity crisis of me,
Yep. That's a
leaving
shift.
my all my friends, my home, my career, right? Like I was a teacher for 12 years, and then all of a sudden, I'm mom. It's like, what is mom? I'm a first time mom. I don't
Yeah.
even know what that means. So there was a lot of changes the first 5 years of our marriage. Um, and so but again, couples therapy really helped. We went through a lot of it. And then after COVID, his job was more demanding. So he was traveling a lot. So again, I was still, again, used to the solo parenting with my toddler. And now Evie's in kindergarten, I guess. And yeah, I mean, we just kind of worked it out, and I think the biggest thing is like he and I have this mutual understanding of like whatever we like doing for ourselves, we will never infringe on, and we've never have. Like he's a golfer. He used to play college golf. So he loves golfing, and
Mhm.
I think that's great. That's a great hobby, like go have fun, get fresh air. And I've never once, infringed on that. Like if he were to say like, "Hey, I'm going to go golfing." Go for it, you know? And I have to say he's very considerate also because he knows how hard it is to be a stay-at-home mom. And he would say, like, "Hey, I'm gonna go super early, like, 7 o'clock, but I should be back in the afternoon," type of thing. So
Yeah.
he's considerate in that aspect where I know some husbands may not be. Um, so I'm
And that
fortunate.
helps. I
It
feel like
does
that
help.
really helps.
Yeah, it makes
Because
you
my
feel like a
husband will
team
do
player.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my husband will do the same thing, and you're like, "Okay," like, I'm the same way, like, I feel like you should
Mhm.
never take away from what one
No.
another enjoys, because
Yeah.
really, like, as you're growing together, when you get married, when you have children, and you have those identity things, like, that's what you have left
That's
is what
it.
you remember that you enjoy.
Yeah. That's all you
As
have.
you yeah, as you learn new things that you enjoy.
Right.
But I would agree, like, you're much more likely to be such a supportive wife of those
Mhm.
hobbies and of those
Yes.
things if your husband is considerate. And, like, same, if your wife's considerate,
Mhm.
um, because my husband's the same way, he'll be like, "Oh, we're gonna golf super early." And I'm like, "Oh, great." And then if the day's going great, he's like, "Hey, can I go get lunch?" Go if the day's great. Or I'm
Yeah.
like, "No, you're gonna come
No.
home. It's
Yeah.
been wild. It's been
Yeah.
a
I
wild
need to
day."
get out.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
100%.
it's
Yeah.
so it's nice. And yeah, I mean, I think COVID for everybody, for every marriage that was used
Yeah.
to the routine, I think it did
Mhm.
that. Now, my husband and I, what's interesting is we met during COVID. So
Oh.
all we knew was like at home dates, and he
Oh
worked
my
from home, and I
gosh.
actually was out of a job. So I was home like all the time, and I would just go
Yeah.
hang out at his place.
Yeah.
So it's great. But I will say now, when he has like 2 weeks off during the holidays, I'm like, "Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for you to go back and doing your thing,"
Yeah.
because it does throw off the rhythm of the
Yes.
house. As much as I enjoy him
100%.
around, I'm like, it
Yeah.
just throws it off. Like,
Mhm.
I don't even know how, because you're like, "Well, we could still do the same things," but it just changes the
But
dynamic.
it really does, because it's
Yeah.
like, no, you're not. And I always tell him, and it's funny because one of my reels that just went viral about me like freaking out because Ryan was home for the next 10 days or whatever during winter
Oh,
break.
I saw
And
that.
yeah, and I'm like, oh my God, these people are so idiotic. And then like I'm like, "You just don't get it. You just don't get it," And even Ryan, again, like, he sees all my shit, and he's just like,
Yeah.
"What? This is dumb." Um, but yeah, it's just like it's not that they're infringing, it's just the flow. I feel like just the flow is different, the dynamic, like you had mentioned, and, like, for the kids, I feel like they act up more when mom and dad are together versus when it's
Yeah.
just one parent.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I mean, my daughter thinks that, like, it's playtime.
Uh-huh.
She just
Yeah.
I don't know. It just changes it. But I'm like, well, I guess like you mentioned, like if he were on a meeting by himself with someone
Mhm.
and then we joined, the
Yeah.
meeting would be different, right? So
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
exactly. It is, and so I always have to sometimes remind him, like, "Hey, you're in my workspace. This kitchen
Yeah.
is my workspace," Like, "You have your home office, this whole house is my home office,"
Yeah.
So,
It's so true.
yeah.
Oh, well, I love that. And I love all the advice that you shared. For moms that are going through like how you were feeling, like moms that are going to doctors right now,
Mhm.
that might be going through perimenopause, or even moms that are like new moms, not
Yeah.
feeling themselves. They feel like something's off. Like this can be for any mom or any
Mhm.
woman. Like you're not feeling yourself. You feel like something's different, but you aren't finding those answers. Like what advice can you
Mhm.
give to those moms
Yeah.
or to the
Well,
women that are listening?
definitely for, the thing that that helped me because when I became a mom, I did have like PPA and PPD, and I just never told my doctors that because I was under the impression because back then it was so taboo almost, right? Like I didn't even know about, you know, anxiety medication, any of that stuff. And I thought they were going to take my daughter away. So I just lied and was like, oh, I'm so happy and everything's so great. I think it's just really important now, especially because it's more wide known, right? Like people are more aware of it and get the help that you need, Like if your doctor or whoever, your practitioner is not really if you feel they're not really on your team, I think it's so important to just look elsewhere, like,
Hmm.
they're not owing you anything, you don't need to owe them anything, like, it's really important to find somebody that will be on your team and that will listen because your feelings are valid, however you're feeling, if you're feeling great, if you're feeling shitty, like, they're valid, and, just the whole gaslighting thing, that just makes me so mad. So don't let anyone gaslight you because honestly, like, no, you're correct in how you're feeling. But definitely I would say be open-minded and also like seek the help, talk to other moms, because that is what truly helped me. Just talking to other moms and not feeling alone, not feeling like I'm such a horrible mom because XYZ, like
Hmm.
because especially for first-time moms, like, I didn't have that community, and I just thought everything I did was wrong and, like, "Oh my gosh, she's gonna die if I, like, don't if she doesn't get her nap because I read that they need nap at this certain time," and it's like, there's so much fear, I feel like.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I don't know. Just know you're just doing the best you can. Like, we've never been moms before. It's our first
Yep.
time being a mom. Mom to one, mom to two, it's our first time doing all of it too. So I don't know. Like I just think if anything, just advocate for yourself. Find yourself someone that will help because and
Hmm.
don't take "you're fine" as an answer because you're obviously not fine. you know?
Yeah. If you're going somewhere
Definitely.
and saying, I'm not fine, like, you know how you feel, you
Yeah,
know who you are.
100%, like, they don't know, they don't what's fine? It's so subjective, So it's
It
like
seriously
yeah,
is.
it is. And also, yeah, go outside, get some fresh air too. Like, definitely, I didn't do that a lot, but I do that now and, like, just really taking a moment. And I know it's so cliche because people say that all the time. And I remember, like, oh my God, when am I going to have time to, like, just take a breather for 30 minutes? So I never did because I was like, no, no, I have to be mom. I have to do this. I have to do that. And if I were to go back in time, I would definitely make time for myself to do that. Even just the 30 minutes of just no one needing you, touching you, like talking to you, just silence.
Hmm.
I think it's
Yeah.
really important.
I couldn't agree more with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like as a mom, I didn't know how to like sit down when my daughter would nap.
Oh,
I was cleaning bottles and
mhm.
cleaning the house up and doing laundry and just like trying to be my normal of what I knew I was
Yes.
capable of.
Mhm.
But then I was running myself so low. Um,
Yes.
and now, I feel like I have a balance where some days I'm like, okay, I'm doing a ton. I should probably sit
Mhm.
down. And now, like, when she naps, I might, like, go sit outside in the sunlight and just, like,
Yeah.
sit and breathe and be
Mhm.
like, like, laundry is gonna be there, like, things will be there.
Yeah, it
But, like,
will.
you need to
It
take care
might
of
annoy
yourself.
you. It will annoy you because 'cause you're like,
Yes.
"Damn it, all this freaking laundry," but it will be there.
Yep, it will be there. And even when you do it, there will be
Yeah,
more the next day,
there
like,
will
it
be
doesn't
every
stop.
day.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I love everything that you shared. Thank you so much for everything that you share. And I'm so excited for this episode to hopefully help some moms out there that are just in different stages in life listen to, your experience.
Thank you so much for having me. That was so fun.
It was.